living longer, living healthier, living better than ever before. Welcome to Mountain Pacific's Healthy Living for Life, a weekly series that gives you the information, education, and expert insight you need to become an active participant in today's ever-changing healthcare climate. Here now is today's program host.
Exercise and being active is important at any age, but as we get older, fitness plays a big role in staying strong and keeping our independence. No matter how in shape you are right now, yoga is a great way to improve balance, flexibility, and heart health with minimal impact on your body. Welcome to Healthy Living for Life, a show dedicated to helping you do just that. I'm your host, Janet Whitmoyer. Today we'll show you some yoga positions you can do at any fitness level. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Healthy Living for Life. Our guest today is Anna Bradley, a certified yoga instructor who will be showing us how yoga can improve balance, flexibility, and heart health. Anna was previously on our show explaining the benefits of yoga and meditation. Thanks, Anna, for being here with us again.
My pleasure. Good.
Okay, so today, can you tell us how yoga can help us from aging, or aging in a healthy way?
Yeah, you know, we can talk about this from a lot of different angles, but a good place to start is with our balance. As we age, our ability to balance well is impacted, and if we can maintain that sense of balance, we can also avoid falls and injury.
Okay. So how does balance actually affect the aging process?
So not many people know this, but actually the composition of our muscle fibers actually changes a little bit as we age. And so it has nothing to do with our lifestyle. It happens to all of us, but that change makes our reaction time a little bit slower. And when our balance is challenged, we have trouble correcting it as quickly as we used to. Our sense of where we are in space, which is called proprioception, also weakens as we age, and so our peripheral nervous system, which is the part of our nervous system that sends message from our central nervous system to the rest of our body, slows down, and so our reaction times are slower. And it also, reduces our ability to feel and can mean that we over or undercompensate when we feel like our balance is challenged. So I'll talk about later how our arteries and our heart muscles stiffen, and that stiffening actually occurs throughout the body, through all of our joints and muscles, and that has an impact as well.
Okay, so if all of this happens naturally, how can yoga help us?
Yeah, the stimulation of our nerve endings and increasing our blood flow is really key as the nerve endings become encapsulated in tighter muscle and connective tissue and get a little less sensitive. Making sure that our blood flow and making sure we're stimulating those nerve endings is going to do a really great job. And we can play with that stimulation by using our balance in a safe way during our practice. A big problem with balance is that we fear falling, and so if we can practice in a safe way, then we can play with that a little bit better.
Okay, so can you show us some ways that we can help improve our balance and so that we aren't falling in a hurtful way?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and start off. Let's come to the edge of our chairs.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to encourage you to take your shoes off if you don't mind.
Okay.
Especially,
I was just going to ask, is there a reason why, because we see this all the time with yoga, why people take their shoes and socks off?
Yeah, so one of the reasons, especially since we're talking about balance today, and we're talking about stimulating those nerve endings, our soles of our feet are one of the most nerve-rich places in our body. There are 100,000 to 200,000 nerve endings, exteroceptors, in the bottom of our feet. And so it's really important that we keep those lively. They get dulled over time, especially with the padding of our socks and our shoes.
Yeah,
And so taking some opportunities to have bare feet and really grounding them down. What I like to do is actually to plant the ball of my foot at my big toe and then roll to the pinky edge all the way down the blade of the foot to the heel. And I do that with each one to really make sure that I'm grounded on all four corners of the feet and my arch is a little lifted.
Okay.
And some people I think have some trouble placing their feet flat on the ground. Just doing your best, really activating, spreading through the toes.
Okay.
And then we're going to start off here by just kind of doing a centering moment. So another way that yoga helps our balance is by teaching us to stay in the present moment.
Okay.
The last time I was here, we talked about how yoga was a mindfulness practice, and mindfulness is really just paying attention on purpose to the present moment without judgment.
Okay.
And so if we're being more aware of our surroundings, our balance will improve.
Okay.
And so grounding those feet down, letting the hands be soft on the legs, and just taking a big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. This time as you inhale, start all the way at the belly. Feel the ribs expand. Feel the chest lift and exhale all of it. Let's do that again. Inhaling, belly rises, ribs expand, chest lifts, and exhaling. So we're practicing using the whole lung here.
Okay.
The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually come to standing. We're going to play with a pose called tree pose. I'm going to come over here.
Okay.
Janet, if you would just stand in between the chairs.
Okay.
So chairs can be a really nice prop, especially for our balance. And so with tree pose, you can just let your hand rest on one of the chairs.
Okay.
And we're just going to base your left foot and let the toes of your right foot come to the floor and your heel to the inside of your ankle. Yep. So we're turning the leg out a little bit.
Okay.
Perfect. And then you can stay right there. If you're starting to feel a little bit more balanced, if you feel really steady, you can pull the heel up the leg so the foot is actually off the floor. Yep, sole of the foot against the inside of the shin.
Okay.
And so we work to keep either the heel below or toes above the knee. So we're not actually pushing on that knee joint.
Okay.
And then if you're feeling comfortable, you can take your hands off the chair. You can place them together at the heart. You could even reach them up overhead, but the chair is there for you to feel safe.
Okay. So far, so good.
Good. And go ahead and come down, and we'll move on to something else. Ideally, with all of these poses, you do them on both sides. So later, do that on the other side so you don't fall over later.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is just play with coming up onto the balls of your feet as far as you're comfortable, and then back down. And so people can lift just 1 inch, they can lift 2 inches, you can roll all the way onto the balls of your feet, or you can come all the way back down.
Awesome.
So again, to where you're comfortable. Do that a couple more times. Nice. And now, as you come to the balls of your feet, breathe in. And as you relax back down, breathe out. Inhale, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Remembering that at any time, if you feel unsafe, you can use the chair for support. This time, inhale and reach your right arm overhead. And let it come down. Inhale, left arm can reach up. There we go. So we're starting to engage the brain a little bit. And coming down. And then if you're comfortable, both arms can reach. Good. And back down. At any point, using the chair for support.
Perfect. And we're about out of time for this segment, but we will be back. We'll continue this conversation after these messages. Welcome back. We're here with Anna Bradley, who is teaching us yoga today. So Anna, in addition to improving balance, what else can yoga do to help us age more healthily?
So another great topic is heart health, which is really important. Cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death in America. So as we age, aging itself isn't a risk factor, but as we get older, lots of other factors have more time to come together to increase our risk of cardiovascular disease. So the way we eat, the way we exercise, all of that stuff starts to come together. How we sleep as we age, all of those behaviors and those trends start to come together. And so there are some physiological things that happen. I mentioned in the last segment how our arteries harden, the walls of our heart can start to stiffen, and our heart muscle itself can start to stiffen. And so the more that we can improve that circulation and work with that heart muscle, the better.
Okay. So can yoga actually reverse some of these aging processes?
So we're not going to reverse anything, unfortunately. We do continue to age.
Okay.
But what we can do is we can age in a healthy way.
Okay.
And so we can continue to stimulate our bodies. We can yoga has actually been shown to stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest system. And so that helps us reduce our chronic stress levels. That helps us lower our blood pressure. We're reducing workflow for the heart. And then yoga has also been shown to improve the heart's actual electrical conduction, which actually helps the heart's rhythm stabilize. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, yoga, we talked about it being a mindfulness exercise, and compassion, when we practice compassion towards ourselves and others, has been shown to release a hormone or a chemical in the body called oxytocin. And oxytocin actually reduces inflammation in the body. And inflammation is a key cause of clogged arteries. It's not just thickening arterial walls, it's actually inflammation as well.
Okay, so can you show me some things that will help us release the oxytocin?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So the first thing that we're going to do is dynamic stretching.
Okay.
And so go ahead and take a wide stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back.
Okay.
And you're actually going to be on the ball of your back foot for me.
Okay.
So go ahead and lift up until you're on the ball of the foot and your heel is actually over the ball of the foot. Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then know that you can always shorten the stance, you can lengthen it, and you can actually also widen the distance between the feet as well. So
Okay.
it's more like you're standing on train tracks instead of a
Oh,
tightrope.
okay.
And then all that we're going to do here, this is a dynamic movement. We're going to inhale and we're going to straighten your front leg. And we're going to exhale and we're going to bend into it. Making sure the knee doesn't go past the ankle. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to bend. And you can increase the intensity by stepping the feet further apart. So if you
Okay.
feel comfortable, then
Okay.
you can now inhale to straighten and exhale to come back in.
Okay.
Okay, so practicing dynamic movements like that is going to
Okay.
help us increase the workload on the heart and increase our blood circulation.
Okay.
Another one is going to be static movements. So again, do that on the other side later, so
Okay.
you're not all uneven,
Okay.
walking around crooked.
All
Go
right.
ahead and step the feet together.
Okay.
And switch to your other leg, give your front leg a break. And we're going to come into Warrior 3. Just go ahead and start to lift your left leg up, keeping the hips level to the ground just as far as feels comfortable. And you can actually keep the toes on the ground if that feels better.
Okay.
And you can start to lift it higher as you start to reach your body forward. So you're trying to keep your body in one straight line, just challenging your balance, just moving as far as you feel comfortable. Nice.
Okay.
See if you can drop that hip down a little bit, square to the floor. Nice. And then maybe staying for like 5 or 10 breaths here. Just big breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's go ahead and just take one more. And out through the mouth. Let's go ahead and come down.
Okay.
We've got one more static pose that we're going to show. Let's
Okay.
turn this chair around. We're going to come into chair pose, actually
Okay.
using a chair. Go ahead and sit to
Okay.
the edge of the chair. A lot of times people feel like they have to actually stay in the chair. That's really not true. We
Okay.
should try to get out of the chair as often as we can. But
okay.
it can be a good place to start.
Right.
And so what we're going to do, go ahead and put your hands on your thighs and start to put weight into your feet. Your crown of your head is going to reach to where the wall and ceiling come together.
Okay.
And as you start to put weight in your feet, start to stand up a little bit. You might even lift your hips from the chair.
I want to put my hand on the chair.
I know, well, let's just try it.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go.
That was it.
But that's it though, is trying
Wow, okay.
those little waves. And it's
Okay.
harder than people
It
think. Putting
is.
some weight in your feet and lifting up.
Like that?
Yep, like that. Okay, good.
Okay.
And
Oh.
over time, we sustain that position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll practice that and let you know when I sustain that position.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, how much time do we have? We have one
We
more?
have about a minute and a half left. So.
Okay, great. So why don't you go ahead and stand up and step
Okay.
off to the side. This is one that I demonstrated for you guys the last time that I
Oh,
was
okay.
here. So now we just talked about how to increase workload on the heart gently.
Okay.
Now we're actually going to think about how do we decrease workload on the heart.
Okay.
Decrease. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to come into that legs up the wall position again. And you can
okay.
use a chair. You can also use a wall in your house. And you just come flat on your back. You can just hang out here. This is, I
Okay,
love
that
being in this
looks great,
position.
yeah.
This is really relaxing. And what it does is it helps our circulation, it helps our blood get to our brain a little more easily. So now we're starting to reduce pressure on the heart
Okay.
and just giving it a break. And that's
Okay.
good for it too. Okay?
So just resting like this
Just
is a great
resting
yoga pose.
is really
Awesome.
good. Yeah.
Love it.
And then I'm just going to show us really quickly how to get up from here.
Okay.
I'm just going to really gently ease myself away from the chair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to place my knees off to the side and roll over like you're a baby about to crawl. Oops.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
And then you stand up. You can use the chair, place a hand down, and come all the way back up.
So intentional movement, not just jumping up, is
Yes.
important.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, so important.
Okay, great. All right, well, we'll be right back with more with Anna right after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Anna Bradley is still with us. And before I transfer back to her, I do want to share with all of you that I was practicing the chair pose over the break, and I can do it. So if I can do it, you can do it. So
There you
Did
go.
I get it?
That's it.
good.
Well,
Okay.
And we're going to talk about this more, but I think it's important for people to know that these are this is a skill, this is a practice, right? I tell my students all the time, this is yoga practice, not yoga perfect, right?
Yeah, that's
we just
for sure.
try on our way to different places, and every day it's going to be different.
Awesome.
Without judgment and with compassion is
Okay,
key.
I like that. So what's next on our yoga lesson for today?
So today, the last thing I want to talk about is flexibility.
Okay.
So there's a lot of components to flexibility, right? We can be flexible in our minds, and we can be flexible in our bodies. And the same thing goes with heart health and balance, right? We can be balanced physically and mentally. We can be healthy in our heart emotionally and physically. And so, you know, I think that, again, giving ourselves an opportunity to practice these things in a safe environment helps us in more ways than we think of right away. It's more than just a physical exercise.
Okay, well, and that makes sense to me. But what happens to our flexibility as we get older? I'm guessing we become less flexible?
Yeah, we do. It's similar to how we've been talking about already. We have changes in our joints. We also have changes in our tendons and our ligaments that make our joints feel more constricted or restricted in movement. The cartilage that cushions our joints also breaks down, which can cause things like arthritis or inflammation, can be painful. And then we're also learning more and more about something that we call connective tissue or fascia, which is the substance that wraps around all of our muscles and our organs throughout our body, and our yoga practice actually helps us keep that lubricated. It keeps it from getting too sticky and clumped together, which helps us maintain our flexibility.
Okay, so do you have some yoga moves that you could share with us? We'll see, I'll attempt to do these to see if it will help with that.
So, yep, absolutely. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find that space again at the edge of our chairs.
Okay.
Ground those feet down.
Okay.
And then since we're talking about flexibility, you know, it's really important to think about a concept that we call minimum edge. And so moving to the minimum place where you start to feel movement and then deciding from there where to go as opposed to just going straight to the finish line.
Okay.
I think a lot of times people think that we either do it all completely or we don't do it at all, and that's really not true. There's a lot of in between. And so going to that first place where you start to feel it and then deciding if you want to go a little deeper or if you want to come out of a pose or change something is where we start to discern what's good for us and what's not. And so the first thing we're going to do is work with the 6 degrees of flexibility in the spine. And so we're actually going to go ahead and leave our left hand, go ahead and either hold it onto the side of the chair or actually underneath the chair. You can also come through the arm, whatever's most comfortable.
Okay.
And then we're just going to reach the right arm up and start to drop it over. The tendency here is going to be drop the right shoulder down to protect the heart. See if you can lift it up and drop it back. Okay, and again, just to the point that's comfortable. That might be a really imperceptible movement you feel like. It might just be here. It might be further. But just see what you can do.
Okay.
And then you'll drop that down and try that on the other side. So we're doing lateral bending on both sides with our spine.
Is it to keep your back straight and move instead of moving my whole
So we're keeping our hips grounded down.
Okay, yeah, there. Okay.
But if you have something like SI joint pain, then let the pelvis lift up with you a little bit.
Perfect.
And then go ahead and come down. And then we can twist. We can use the chair. Let the left hand come to the left knee, right hand to the chair arm or to the side of the chair.
That one feels good.
Yeah. And again, each of these you don't have to hold for like 30 seconds in each one, but 5 or 10 breaths in each of these positions. Just big breaths in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth, whatever's most comfortable. Let's try that on the other side. And actually, I should say, starting at center, inhale first, get a nice long spine, sit up straight, and then rotate through the rib cage. Nice. And then let's go ahead and come back. The next movement that we're going to do, so we did lateral bending and then we did twisting. And now we're just going to do flexion and extension with the spine. And so go ahead and take the arms in front like you're holding a beach ball. And with an inhale, pull the fingers apart, pull the heart through the arms. You're okay. And maybe lift the gaze if it feels good in the neck. And then as you exhale, start to bring the fingertips back together. Maybe press through the backs of the hands to the opposite wall, tucking chin to chest. So we're arching in the back. Inhale and pull the heart through the arms. And exhale to round. Then you can do that maybe one more time, inhaling to open and exhaling to round, really pushing through the backs of those hands to get a nice stretch across the shoulder girdle. And then the hands can come back down.
We have about 1.5 minutes left. Do you have anything else to show me?
I do. So we're going to move into a pigeon pose. And what I want to do first, well, let's demonstrate it with and without the chair, actually. So to come into a pigeon pose while seated, we're actually going to take your right ankle there and cross it over your left knee.
Okay.
Okay, and how does that feel in the knee?
Good.
Okay, good. That's a good sign.
Okay,
So
good.
any heat in the joint, any tingling,
Okay.
we want to come out of a position.
Okay.
That's not good.
Okay.
So go ahead and press through the ball of the foot here, and then let the toes draw back, kind of like you're wearing high heels. If anyone doesn't know what it feels like to wear high heels,
Okay.
just think about Barbie feet, or
Barbie feet.
maybe
Okay.
borrow a pair from somebody in town.
Okay.
And then go ahead and drop that down. And again, you would do this on
Okay.
both sides.
Okay.
But just in case, that can be a really hard position to get into. You're really
Okay.
lucky that that was so easy for you.
Okay.
Go ahead and just bring the leg up, making sure that the shin is fully supported on the
Okay.
chair.
Okay.
And then, I don't know how well the camera can see this, but your knee is actually kind of suspended in air from
Yes.
the chair. And so taking a blanket or a couch pillow to support
Oh,
that
yeah.
joint.
Great.
And so right now I'm just using my fist.
Okay.
But putting something there so that you can support the skeleton so that the muscles can relax,
Okay.
really is what we're doing.
Okay.
Same idea, you're still feeling it in the hip?
Yep.
All right, that's it.
Okay. And that's about all the time we have left.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Great job.
Okay. Well, Anna, I'd like to thank you for sharing your knowledge and your demonstration with us. And for
pleasure.
you at home, I'd like to thank you for watching. Remember, it's never too late to make exercise part of your daily routine, and yoga may be a great place to start. Until next time, stay fit, stay well, and stay healthy for life with Healthy Living for Life. We'll see you next week.
Healthy Living for Life is brought to you by Mountain Pacific Quality Health in partnership with AARP Montana. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for future programs, visit our website at mpqhf.org or call us at 406-443-4020. You can also catch us on YouTube by visiting our website and clicking on the Healthy Living for Life logo. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions.